Hi, welcome back to BitWise, your bite-sized crypto learning. Have you heard of crypto news mentioned CBDC, digital yuan, e-CNY, DCEP? You might be scratching your head wondering, a bit confused. No worries, you come to the right place. Today we will discuss all of these in easy to understanding. We will start with a crash course about CBDC, then we will focus on today's topic, the Chinese digital yuan, or also known as e-CNY. What are the differences compared to cryptocurrencies? Does it really matter? Do you need it?
So what is CBDC? Abbreviation for central bank digital currencies are digital forms of money, issued by a central bank. They are pegged to the value of that respective country's fiat currency. Centralized legal tender issued and regulated by a nation's monetary authority or central bank. Theirs is no physical paper money or coins like those in your wallet. It's just numbers and digits in your bank account that lives in your smartphone or online account. What we call a cashless society. It may sound in the distant future, but it might be coming sooner than you think.
You might wonder, what is the hype with CBDCs compared to our current fiat currency system? Well, first, it's fully digital in a centralized computer rather than printing physical paper money. Minting physical money like paper money and coins cost the United States operating budget of over $1,000 million only in 2021, but remember there is still yearly printing, transport, storage and renewal old currency costs in each stage of the financial system, in private banks and foreign reserve central banks. CBDCs is a huge saving in cost, also cost in other areas like security, ATM machine and the whole downstream supply chain.
With the unparalleled power of the American government and the prominence of the US dollar as the world's major reserve currency, as long as the world continues transacting in its currency, the world will have no choice but to play by its rules. Although it will surely never happen, the U.S. Treasury could in theory make the state-run Bank of China close anyone's Chinese bank account, but this exorbitant privilege wielded by the U.S. need not last forever if the collective world chose the renminbi instead. China would have this power, and a growing number of experts are concerned about exactly what may happen likely. Today's focus is China's version of CBDC named DCEP, digital currency payment short named as e-CNY, become the first major country to launch a digital currency, the progress of which is years at least ahead of the US. Trails of the e-CNY already rolled out in Beijing and the recent 2022 Winter Olympics. Could this be the beginning of the end for the US dollar, and with it its ability to financially exile or sanction anyone or any country it wishes? We will find out more about the US dollar as the great world's reserves currency. The US dollar has seen its fair share of rivals, most recently the euro, but even at its most tenuous moments has still had plenty of room to fall. Today in 2021 it comprises about 60% of global currency reserves, a figure made only more impressive when compared to its closest competitors. The next most popular currency is the euro at only 20%. Whereas China's renminbi way down here at about 2%, if you can even see it. That's despite the fact that its economy makes up about 1/6 of the world's GDP.
Zoom out, however, and things get a bit more complicated. Some interpret this graph as proving the dollar is here to stay. It is in fact more widely held now than 40 years ago. Others see a market ripe for disruption. Its trend, however slow, is clearly downward, they would argue, and besides, currency reserves are very much winner-take-all. 2% may not sound like a lot but actually places the renminbi in fifth place thanks to network effects. If the world were to change its mind on the dollar, the shift may happen fast, with the new winner taking a dominant position like the dollar today, which brings us to the digital yuan.
The digital currency electronic payment system. The idea is to make a one-to-one digital version of cash with many of the same properties. Like cash, for example, you may not need a bank account and it will have the same legal status. You'd be able to deposit money from your bank or an ATM and send money to others directly, likely without a fee. If this sounds revolutionary, you've surely never stepped foot in China. While a few of these features might be novel in most countries, China is light years ahead when it comes to mobile payments. Paying for everything with your phone is massively more convenient than cash or credit card. Unfortunately, China uses neither. At least 85% of Chinese adults with access to the internet use mobile payments for everything from groceries and gas to paying parking tickets. You won't go 10 steps without seeing one of these signs. Neither does the digital and solve a problem of fragmentation. 94% use WeChat or Alipay. In fact, all it does is introduce one more standard. Now you might assume digital means cryptocurrency, but central bank digital currencies are not in any way cryptocurrencies. Neither are they blockchains, neither are they decentralized or permissionless. In other words, virtually every limitation of regular cash applies to digital cash as well. The digital yuan is the very antithesis of cryptocurrency. The latter promises a future free from government intervention, a world where no one can be blocked from the financial system, one that is totally anonymous. Whether you see those things as features or bugs, China's invention is the exact opposite. The central bank controls who can participate, the printing of money, and everything in between. Some claim it would allow money to move faster than bank transfers, but most mobile wallets are already instant. Some claim it would allow for new and interesting monetary policies, like making unused stimulus checks expire after a crisis is over, but experts have rightly pointed out that this is already possible. So what exactly is special or unique about it? There is one party for whom this will truly be revolutionary: the government. While it can and does already request data from banks and payment platforms, this information is necessarily delayed and cash goes undetected. When payments are made directly to and from the central bank, authorities will have a real-time window into every transaction in the country. Nothing will slide under the radar, including money laundering, gambling, and any other form of illegal activities. If and when physical cash disappears, there will be nowhere for corrupt politicians or tax evaders to hide. Finally, power will shift from private companies like Ant and Tencent over to the state. Companies may design the apps and interfaces that citizens interact with, but the actual levers of policy will be firmly in the hands of the government rather than 1 degree removed. This is not unique. Every government wants tighter control over its economy, but for China the issue takes on a particular urgency. It cannot afford to be late if doing so means ceding control to a private company, or worse, a foreign private company. For users, though, it will appear as though China invented PayPal or Apple Pay, just one more app to use with no real advantage. The problem won't be adoption. If necessary, the government will simply force it upon the public. The real challenge is international adoption. Replacing the yuan with the digital yuan is relatively easy, but not revolutionary. Replacing the dollar with the yuan would be revolutionary, but is far from easy. The reason countries choose the dollar is not because of its technical superiority. After all, most financial transactions are already digital, just ones and zeros moving from one account to another. No, the world chooses the dollar because of its stability, liquidity, and transparency, 3 things which a digital currency does absolutely nothing to address. You'll know China is serious about internationalizing the renminbi when it makes the costly trade-off of removing capital controls and letting its exchange rate float freely. Until then, sources proclaiming the end of the US dollar and threat of the digital yuan are at best motivational tools and at worst deceptive fear-mongering. There is, however, another invention that may help China evade sanctions. If it were to succeed, it would mark the beginning of a new era of U.S.-China relations. Obvious differences: CBDC will be centralized, can either use or might not use blockchain, compared to cryptocurrency, which is decentralized and blockchain-based. Most countries with a healthy financial system surely are racing to develop their own CBDCs, like the US Fed, European Union's central bank, and even back here at home, Bank Negara Malaysia. All sovereign countries will want to control their own currency. CBDCs will not be replacing cryptocurrencies, both can complement each other, have own demand and use case in the world's future financial system. We hope you enjoy today's learning. Remember to subscribe, like and share. Thank you.